Bungie. What happened? How did we go from the Witch Queen to Lightfall? How did we go from having this to this? I mean, you yourself even stated the campaign for Lightfall would be made by the team who made Witch Queen. I mean, did you fire them after a week?
Screw you! You're fired!
Did the heads of your company step in and ruin everything? I mean, you did an amazing job for quality of life changes. Don't get me wrong, we'll talk about those in a minute. But that's not part of the DLC. That's not what we're paying for. So what happened? Something must have happened. What up, my fellow nerds? Tallen here with 59 Direct, and please subscribe to the channel so my team will let me out of jail. They're still mad that I did not take them to Mario Land. I'm kind of stuck in here. Help, please. If you enjoy the video, a like and a comment will be greatly appreciated. It always helps us with the ever so evolving and scary algorithm that is the YouTube. If you don't like the video, then leave a dislike and let us know why down in the comments below. Comments always help us a lot regardless of what they say. Be civil though. All right, enough of that now. Let's get this review underway. Over the last 2 weeks of this expansion being out, there have been a roller coaster of thoughts, opinions, reviews, etc. from everybody on the interwebs. From videos to blogs to comments on social media, you name it. At the beginning, a vast majority of the people found this DLC to actually be pretty disappointing due to the campaign. Most of us were simply trying to complete it, and reviews were based on that alone. I mean, just one look at the Steam reviews and yikes. Then after players went into the post-game, including missions, story stuff, and got to see what happened with the sandbox changes, opinions actually started to change in a more positive direction, actually. Then finally, when the raid released, people were actually kind of split. When you compare all of this for Lightfall and you compare it next to the Witch Queen, which makes sense because that was the previous year's DLC, which, by the way, was pretty overwhelmingly positive, many players are stuck wondering, what the heck happened? Was it having the last DLC, Final Stand, be split up to finish out this whole 10-year thought and process of the Light and Dark saga? Are the teams that are making Destiny right now just tired of Destiny at this point? I mean, it's a long time to work on one single game, so I kind of get it. The honest truth is, we're never gonna know. Regardless, there are a lot of opinions, emotions, and everything in between right now when it comes to Lightfall. So I want to throw my hat into the ring right now and just kind of see and give my overall thoughts and opinions on this DLC. Some things I am sure some will agree with, others maybe not so much. That's totally fine. Both are okay. But let's keep this civil and let's just have a conversation like the adults that we are. So first up, let's start with the campaign. By the way, you want to see a full walkthrough and guide on it? Go and check out the link below or in the top right corner. We have it all up on our Plays channel. This was really hard to complete. Not from a difficulty concept, but from a story concept. How did we go from the story of learning about Savathûn, saving the light, and defeating the Witch Queen herself, while also teasing the witness reveal and prepping us for the raid and that boss, only to get this? Don't get me wrong, there are some good points. The opening scene to this campaign and the level are actually pretty cool. Ships flying around everywhere to stop the witness in the pyramids, while your guardian holds on for dear life as the ship flies off towards Neptune. That is the return of Callus. Plus, let's just put this out there right now. The music is absolutely amazing, and any scene with the witness and Callus are both awesome and, dude, honestly terrifying. This dude, aka the witness, means effing business. This right here is probably my favorite scene in the entire campaign. You know what, James, roll the clip.
My witness, there have been complication. Our hold over the veil has been temporarily loosened.
You fear loss, Emperor. Your fear brings you pain. We know pain. Our purpose is its end. You have no purpose because you fear to seek one. That fear is your failure.
My failure. My failure. I have fed this force with vicious subjugation, battered down the gates of our enemies, and seized our glittering prize. Why? Because I wanted it. You hold the universe in your grasp, and all you can think of to do with it is
secure the veil. We will create the link.
infinite apologies. The veil is yours. It will be done.
One last praise I obviously have to give the campaign before we go into the other stuff is just the art detail. And this is not just simply in the campaign. This is just all over Destiny. Whoever works on the art team, you all deserve A++s, gold stars, raises, brand new office equipment, the whole 9 yards, because you continue to impress like no tomorrow when it comes to the art, the levels, the skyboxes, everything in this game. It is absolutely amazing. And if I could, I'd give you huge bonuses. I seriously would. You absolutely 100% deserve it. But that's basically where it ends. Ronan and Nimbus were really wasted potential. Slow grind to get Strand and the over-focus on it was terrible. The constant shouting in our ear, save the veil. Just give me one second, real quick. What the fuck is the veil? Seriously, we have to constantly listen to whiny baby Osiris over here complain about this MacGuffin of a plot device in our ears and how we must save it to never actually learn what the F it is. Seriously, we covered this in our first 24-hour discussion way back when this campaign released, but damn, it got so annoying. Like, I did it in that video. I have to ask Bungie, did you really let the team that made Witch Queen make this campaign? And unless you gave them Final Stand and only part of that team made Lightfall due to having to split this up, which again are simply rumors, we're not 100% sure on that, this just feels like a filler trying to finish out this whole 10-year campaign thing that you're trying to do with this game. Now, part of this is also due to the complications that the pandemic caused at the start of 2020, which I know pushed a lot of stuff back. There was a reason that multiple DLCs got pushed back, seasons, etc. 100% get it. It definitely had a lasting effect on everything. So I get that. But at the same time, it's a little weird to see where we are right now. Again, especially after what happened with Witch Queen. Or I have to ask this, did a higher up just kind of step in and say, hey, we want more money. Milk this campaign a little bit and expand the story about the Veil and the seasonal story stuff until the final shape finally releases next year, instead of just, putting it into a full campaign DLC. I get the feeling that's the answer. They just wanted to milk this Veil thing for as long as they possibly can throughout this next year of content. And it's gonna suck. And I know they do it because of the seasonal stuff. I even called it in the first 24-hour impressions video. But I hate it so much. It just makes me want to tear what little hair I have left out of my head. I wanted to see more Witness, Callus, and Keitel interacting, more of the Vanguard. Like, seriously, what the F were they doing the whole time? Just hiding in their ship? What is the Veil supposed to be? Or at least at the very minimum, how is it related to the Traveler? Why is it so important? I could go on and on about this campaign, but I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at this point. From our first impressions video to every other content creator out there covering this topic, it's simply just time to move on. But it will forever be a low point in the story of Destiny 2, no matter what happens going forward. Just a fact of life. Let's move on to some of the changes that came along with this campaign DLC. While a lot of these are free to everyone, and I'm not going to personally count those as DLC, I do believe it's actually important to highlight some of these, as it's actually made the players see Lightfall in a more positive light. The biggest change for me personally, is the loadouts being added. This is an amazing change. And while there are a few easy small nitpicks like changing names and the symbols of the loadout and the weapons not going back to your vault or coming back to you from your vault when switching them, overall, this is a great addition to the game. Wish it had been here long ago, but hey, it is here and it is here to stay forever. Another great change is actually for the engrams. Beforehand, we had engrams taking up multiple spaces in our inventory, but now they actually stay with our respective vendor, leaving more space for us to use in our inventory and making it easier just simply to see how many engrams we have at each vendor. Being able to focus on weapons and armor that you may not have, or even if you do have, but maybe not have the right rolls, this is a great change because this allows you to focus on those and chase those and get the stuff that you want, whether it be armor or weapons. Another big change actually is crafting. Crafting received huge changes this time around, and it is all for the better. Gone are the days of trying to collect the Dorito currency and just using now simple ones like the enhancement cores, legendary shards, and the glimmer. I will admit I was a little nervous about the whole legendary shard part being added, but actually it's pretty okay, especially because once you hit the powerful cap, you're not getting blue engrams anymore. You're getting all legendary, which means you can just dismantle all the bad ones that you have to get more legendary shards. And you start playing more playlist stuff like strikes and gambit, then you actually get even more of a chance to be able to dismantle those, because let's be perfectly honest, most people don't get good rolls from that, or you don't really care about that stuff. And bada bing, it's more legendary shards for you. So it actually makes it pretty easy. The Ascendant Alloys is still around and needed for right now for enhancement perks, but those are going to be changed later on down the road this current year, as Bungie has stated beforehand. Not exactly sure how those changes are going to go, but overall, definitely an improvement in my book. The final one I want to talk about real quick that I've enjoyed personally is the difficulty. I love using weapons again combined with my abilities for our subclasses. Not just spamming them like we did beforehand, but I will admit though, I actually do miss the elemental wells. The whole void breaches and everything, I'm not exactly sure how to get those. I think you have to like kill your enemies while they're suppressed. But overall, it's just back to using orbs, I guess, which, okay, fine, I guess. It's kind of, it's not like something I don't like. It's just kind of like, I liked having the different color wells on the ground and everything like that. So I was kind of hoping that the void breaches and the fire sprites and everything would be that kind of more common thing that you see, and you could make more builds into that to just make things go boom or do whatever you wanted with your particular abilities. Again, it's not a huge gripe, but maybe they'll change this as time goes on when it comes to the new armor system and everything. But overall, I love the difficulty. Again, just not spamming all of our abilities all over the place. I feel like for the most part, it's a good balance right now. Yes, things like the Lost Sector luck still sucks, and it's kind of hard, but once you get up to 1810, it's honestly really not that bad. Especially with the many ways we can deal with champions now, using different elements, using different weapons, the whole 9 yards. It actually is pretty easy to take care of these champions. Just get up to a little bit of a higher power, because if you're trying to do these like 50 under, yeah, your weapons aren't doing much damage, unfortunately. Strand is also really amazing at this, and while it's not my favorite subclass in the game, it is a very fun subclass, and there isn't much that I can really say on the topic of said subclass that has not been said already. That being said though, I absolutely love being able to use the abilities of this subclass for my Warlock. Yes, Warlock mains, rise up. This is an amazing class, not only just for everybody, but especially for the Warlock. Being able to consume the grenade and then be able to just suspend rooms of enemies is absolutely fun, and I can never stop laughing at it. And not to mention, we have our own army of Swarmies, which is so much fun. If you don't know what the Swarmies are, it's a new nickname for the Threadlings. Let's be perfectly honest. We have Void Boy, we have Arc Buddy, we got Stacy. He did a nickname for this, and we got Swarmies. I think it's a good name. Overall, these changes, along with many others, have definitely improved the game, and the feeling of it is just really good. You talk to any Destiny player who has been around for a decent amount of time with these changes, and for the most part, everyone agrees they are really good, except for commendations. I'm not even going to get into the topic of this because while it's a really good idea and concept, the execution is absolutely terrible. Want a good video on why? Check out this video from Fallout. Literally sums it all up right there. Like, dude, awesome job. Just go watch this video after you're done watching this. Oh, I'm sorry, real quick. One thing I just kind of have to get off my chest real quick before we move on to the next topic. Where the heck are the strikes, Bungie? One strike. That's it? Oh, you have done the playlists so dirty. And don't give me that, hey, don't worry, the battlegrounds are in the playlist. Dude, have you tried the Mars battlegrounds as a strike? They don't work. They are seasonal battlegrounds, not strikes. They don't work. Earlier ones, sure, Proving Grounds did kind of work as a strike. But these latest ones, hell to the no. And I should not be surprised. Bungie has ignored the core playlist, PvP, strikes, and Gambit for years now. So I'd be going on an endless raid for absolutely nothing. So I just want to get that out there though. One new strike is absolutely abysmal from the amount of money that Bungie makes, which again, it's probably just because it's all going into other IPs or whatever Sony's having them do, but we'll get into that later. All right, so that's the first 2 weeks of the DLC being out. People playing the campaign, trying to do post-game stuff, get their levels up, all in preparation for what exactly? The raid. The big end game DLC event that we all love to try out, or at least the majority of us like to try out. Not everybody, but a lot of us. I've heard opinions all over the place on this particular raid. It's too easy. It's just right. It's a great raid to teach new players. It looks amazing. The armor is weird. Looking at you, Firearm Warlock chest piece. The raid is too hard. Wait, who the F is saying this raid is hard? Anyway, moving on. We have a full video discussion on difficulty and the raid as a whole that you can check out after this video if you want to. I know we're kind of showing some videos off that we've done already that you can check out afterwards, but there's just so much to go over when it comes to this that it's better and kind of easier if you check out those videos afterwards to kind of get more details on our thoughts and opinions on particular stuff that we mention here in this review right now. So check those out if you want to. So for me personally, again, when it came to this raid, I found this raid to be way too easy. It is literally hold W key the raid. Aside from the planet room though, that room is pretty cool actually. Going back to the raid as a whole though, I actually love the atmosphere of the raid. Cool use of the whole light and dark with the lore and all that, definitely really cool. And again, like we stated beforehand at the beginning of the video, art team, you did amazing. More bonuses to them, Bungie, more bonuses to them. Just gonna say that right now. That all being said though, I just think Bungie went a little too far into the easy side of the raid. Not saying we need to have some raid that's super hard to beat or that during the world's first 48 hours raid race that it has to be unbeatable like Last Wish was. Not that. And I'm not some hardcore player that needs everything to be super hardcore. Bungie has stated multiple times that Destiny is not a hardcore game. It is a casual game. And it makes sense from a business standpoint. More players playing your game, more money. It's that simple. But damn, to have the world's first race be done in 2.5 hours after it started, yikes. Then, not to mention the flaws as we saw, the memeing on the final boss during contest mode. I'm shaking my head, to be perfectly honest. Also, the whole argument that it's a good raid to teach new players is not really holding up much, especially when you start looking at some LFG groups. One member of the 5-9 clan, join us if you want to, by the way, and you want a new clan, have run a lot of these LFG groups. And this is not to attack LFGs or to say that they're bad or anything, but according to him, because he's done a lot of these, a lot of players are just refusing to learn these mechanics. Like, seriously? Also, one other thing real quick, those stupid jumping parts using the launchers, Bungie, never again. Never. At least until you fix your frame rate issue. You don't know what I'm talking about. The more frames you have in Destiny, the more damage you take, and the more it can affect your game negatively with mechanics and physics. Think I'm joking? This has been around for years now, and they have yet to fix it. So until then, Bungie, stop with the launcher stuff. Stop it. Want to see why even more? And kind of funny, to be perfectly honest, check out the shorts. You'll find it there. One of my personal favorite raids in Destiny is actually VOW, and I personally think VOW has a good balance. Good mechanics, cool atmosphere, a good amount of enemies to fight, and an amazing boss. I mean, Nezarec? Yeah, wasn't it, buddy? Wasn't it? The God of Pain deserved better treatment. Just gonna say it right now. So, if I had to give this raid a grade though, being the teacher that I am, I'm going to have to give it like a 6 out of 10. Will I continue to run the raid? Yeah, absolutely. I want those red border weapons like anybody does, but I'm going to get those done and that's it. After that, I'm probably not going to go back to playing it. Really not. I'd actually rather go back and play VOW or Deep Zone Crypt or other raids like that personally. Okay, so we've covered pretty much everything here, right? I mean, this is everything that we got, that we paid for this DLC. And wait a minute, Tallen. What about PvP? Audience member that I can't clearly see. What about it? Bungie has again not included anything new for PvP. There is not one new map at launch. There will be one new map over the course of a year. One map, 1 year. That's it. I'm not even counting the 2 old maps. That does not count. It is absolutely clear. Should have been already, but right now it is absolutely clear that PvP will never be a priority for the developers or the leaders of Bungie. And you want to know the main reason why? They probably just want all the PvP players to go over to their new live service PvP game that's supposedly coming out in either 2024 or 2025. Not really sure when, but probably one of those. Or whatever they're making for Sony, because why else would Sony buy them for $3.6 billion? It's sad though, because PvP could really be something special. Though part of me would love to simply just say, don't have classes like we have for PvE. Make predetermined classes so it's easier to balance the abilities and such, and then let us use the weapons that we farmed. Or if we farm the weapons and we get those weapons, then we can use some predetermined rules. Maybe like everyone, regardless if you've picked up, say, Hung Jury, there are 3 Hung Juries you can pick from or something like that. I don't know, something like that. Obviously, this is not even close to being perfect or anything, but still, there has to be a reason that they're not focusing on PvP in Destiny 2. And I think a lot of it just comes down to probably that all of that Sony money is not going towards Destiny. It's going to their new IP probably, and whatever else Sony wants them to make, essentially. That has to be it. I can't. It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. Overall, I think Lightfall is going to go down as one of Destiny's most controversial DLCs. A poor campaign story, but a very fun subclass. Amazing changes gameplay-wise and mechanics, but nothing new to Strike's PvP in the core playlist. And finally, a raid that, while amazing artistic-wise and setting, kind of a letdown gameplay-wise. I know a lot of people might look at this as kind of a rant review, and parts of it are, but this all comes from a place of love. We have 1 year left of Destiny when we hit final shape. I know Destiny will technically continue afterwards, but I've said it before in other videos and such that I personally think this means that a lot of those team members from the development team and everything are probably going to move on to something else, which I don't blame them. Working on Destiny for this long, that's a big thing to do. People want to do something new, 100% get it. But I see Destiny changing a lot after final shape. Whether we go into Destiny 3, which I personally think they should, or doing something else. But regardless, it's going to change a lot, and this will be the final DLC. They have to nail final shape. If they don't, it's going to go down as one of the biggest flops in quite a while. I really want them to nail this though. I really do. I really hope that after watching this video, you think that I want them to fail or something like that. No, further from the truth. I want them to nail this. I've put so many hours in this game, and I really want it to come out complete at the end. But only time is going to tell, and Bungie, you got a lot to prove. That's all I'm going to say. But what are your personal thoughts on all this? Did you enjoy the DLC for Lightfall, the story, or the raid? The gameplay changes? Are you one of the few players who's actually taking some of that sweet, sweet copium that think Bungie actually still cares about PvP more? Leave us all your comments down below. Don't forget to leave a like if you liked the video, but only if you enjoyed it, and sub to the channel if you want more news, reviews, streams, and shorts for everything gaming. I've been Tallen here with 5-9 Direct. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we hope to see you all in the next one. Johnny.